My cousin publicly humiliated my autistic son in front of dozens, so we left and she called CPS and tried to have my son taken away, not realizing just how fast the tables can turn. My son Liam is 9 years old and has autism. He's high-functioning, verbal, and absolutely brilliant with numbers and patterns, but he struggles with loud noises and unexpected changes to his routine. My cousin Jessica knows this. I've explained it to her at least a dozen times over the years. But at her daughter's birthday party last Saturday, she decided that didn't matter anymore. The party was at a restaurant with an arcade section. Loud music, flashing lights, kids screaming and running everywhere. Exactly the kind of environment that overwhelms Liam. I'd asked Jessica beforehand if there would be a quiet space where Liam could take breaks if he needed to. She'd said yes, that there was a small side room we could use. That turned out to be a lie. When we arrived, the party was already in full swing. 50 kids packed into a space meant for maybe 30. The noise level was insane. Liam lasted about 20 minutes before I noticed him starting to shut down. His hands were over his ears and he was rocking slightly. Classic signs that he was getting overloaded. I took his hand and tried to lead him toward the exit so we could step outside for a few minutes. That's when Jessica intercepted us in front of everyone. "Where are you going? The party just started." I explained quietly that Liam needed a break from the noise. Jessica's expression changed. She crossed her arms and said loud enough that people nearby turned to look. "He needs to learn to handle normal situations. You can't coddle him forever." I felt my jaw clench. He's not being coddled. He has sensory processing issues. This isn't about discipline. It's about his neurological makeup. Jessica rolled her eyes dramatically. "That's just an excuse for bad parenting. My kids behave at parties because I actually parent them instead of making excuses for every little tantrum." The nearby conversations had stopped. People were watching us now. Liam's hands were pressed hard against his ears and he was making a small humming noise trying to self-regulate. Jessica pointed at him and said, "See? That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's 9 years old acting like a toddler because you let him. My kids would never be allowed to act like that in public." I kept my voice steady even though I wanted to scream. "Liam is autistic. This isn't behavior, it's a medical condition, and we're leaving now." But Jessica wasn't done. She raised her voice so the whole room could hear. "Maybe if you spent less time making excuses and more time actually disciplining him, he wouldn't be so weird all the time. It's embarrassing watching you baby him." That's when her husband Mark jumped in. "Jessica, that's enough. Let them go." But Jessica had an audience now and she was performing. "I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. That kid needs real help, not a mother who enables his problems." Several parents were nodding along with her. Others looked uncomfortable, but nobody spoke up. I took Liam's hand and walked out. He was crying silently now, overwhelmed by the confrontation on top of the sensory overload. We sat in the car for 30 minutes while he calmed down. I felt like the worst mother in the world for putting him in that situation. Monday morning, I got a call from Child Protective Services. Someone had filed a report claiming I was medically neglecting my son by refusing to seek proper treatment for his behavioral problems. The caseworker read back the complaint almost word for word from what Jessica had said at the party. She asked if she could do a home visit to assess Liam's living conditions and verify he was receiving appropriate care. I was stunned. Jessica had actually called CPS on me for having an autistic child. The home visit was scheduled for Wednesday. I spent 2 days gathering documentation. Liam's diagnosis paperwork from his neurologist, reports from his occupational therapist and speech therapist, his IEP from school showing he was in appropriate special education services, letters from his doctors confirming he received excellent care. The caseworker arrived and spent 2 hours examining our home, interviewing Liam, reviewing all my documentation. She spoke to Liam's therapists on the phone. She even called his school to verify his attendance and progress. At the end of the visit, she closed her folder and sighed. "Mrs. Patterson, your son is clearly very well cared for. He's receiving appropriate services, his medical needs are being met, and your home is safe and loving. This report never should have been filed." I asked if she could tell me who made the complaint. She said it was anonymous, but given the specific details about the party, it was obvious. Then she said something that changed everything. And that's when things took a turn I never expected. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below.